Hi my loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we have another TBR video, my TBR for November, which I cannot believe this is the second last TBR I will be doing for the year. Like, that is crazy to me. How are we in November? Anyway, I usually do a TBR jar, or at least I have done in the past few months, but I kind of wanted to change it up a little bit this month, and I decided to get you guys to blindly pick my TBR for the month of November. I just thought this was a little bit fun. It made it a little bit more interactive and stuff, and I love including you guys in my videos and all that kind of stuff. So that is what we're doing today. We're gonna pick 5 books for my TBR, and I posted on my Instagram stories. That's where I got you guys to choose or blindly choose my TBR. 2 books for kind of each story, if that makes sense. It will once we get started, I promise, but I'm really excited for this. I tried to have like some correlation between the books, like the 2 books that I put up against each other, just so that like it was the same kind of vibe, like we didn't have like a thriller and a romance or something like that. So I tried to stick to similar vibes for each different post, and we'll just see how I did, and we will not be judging my use of emojis to try to describe the book, because some of them are bad, some of them are they're not great. They just get the vibe of the book. But anyway, let's just get started, shall we? So for the first poll, we had a blue book and a red book. The blue book had a sword and a crown emoji, and the red book had a pine tree, a sparkle, and then like the cross swords emoji. These are both very similar kind of vibes. They're both fantasy books, and so it was kind of hard to choose the right emojis for them and like actually differentiate between the 2. Now, one of these is a physical book and the other one isn't. At least I don't have the physical copy yet, but it has been on my like kind of radar for a long time now, and I really wanted to include it in my TBR. So the blue book was Lady of Darkness by Melissa K. I am not going to try and pronounce that last name because I am terrible at pronouncing these things and I don't want to butcher it. Anyway, I think this is the first book in a fantasy trilogy, a romantasy trilogy. I also have the second book in this trilogy, so I really want to get into it. This has actually been republished, and it has been on my TBR for like, I'd say like 4 months now, so I do want to get to it. And yeah, it has been traditionally published again, so I think they were originally published a while ago. I don't know if it was indie first or just under different covers, but they've been traditionally published again, and it's very exciting. We're following Scarlet, who is owned by a ruthless assassin lord, and she is presented with a job. If she completes the assignment, her payment will be something she is wanted for 10 years. Revenge against the Frey Fire Prince who brutally killed their mother 10 years ago. It just kind of sounds like a fun little romantasy. I don't think it'll be anything like groundbreakingly different, but like it's a fun romantasy, and I always want more of them on my TBR. And then the second one was Lightlark by Alex Aster. See, for this one, I feel like I did the emojis pretty good, like a crown and a sword. Like that was pretty accurate. Lightlark, do not know. All I know about Lightlark is it is like a tournament book. So we are set on an island, I think, that appears every like few years, and a tournament is held there. So that's why I did the cross swords, and then it was like island, like I kind of pictured a forest in my mind. That was the other emojis. I don't really know, but I do know it is an enemies to lovers. I think there's a bit of a love triangle going on, but like I think a lot of people prefer the love triangle than like, even if they don't usually like love triangles. And this is by Alex Aster. I read one of her books last month, which you'll see in my monthly wrap up, and I actually really enjoyed her writing, so that's what's made me really curious about this one. And this was a very close poll. We had 43% for Lady of Darkness, 57% for Lightlark. So that means Lightlark will be going on my TBR, which I'm really excited about. Okay, for the next one, again, I don't have one of these books physically, but like I want to get it. But we first of all had a prince and a little glittery emoji for like magic with a white cover, and then the other one was a castle emoji and some like fallen leaves. Yeah, this was not my best job in describing the book with emojis, but the first book was Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. This is the 3rd book in the Mistborn universe, and I know that was terrible emojis, like terrible job by me, but like one of our main characters is like a prince slash king kind of guy, and so that's why I did that. And then it's a very magical kind of world. It was really hard. It was really hard. I was trying to find like a metal emoji because of like the magic system that's in it. And I just couldn't find anything. I was gonna put a stone, and then I was like, really, what does that tell you? I am loving the Mistborn series so much. And then the other book, these are both like part of a series that I'm currently in the middle of, part of a fantasy series. The other book with a castle and leaf falling, I feel like this one was a little bit better, was Kingdom of Copper. This is the second book to City of Brass. I read City of Brass, I think 2 months ago, really liked it. Kingdom of Copper, like I feel like the emojis were pretty good, like a castle and then like a copper leaves falling. That was my thoughts. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I'm really excited to read this. Basically, City of Brass is set in Cairo, and I just thought that was really, like, I just love that setting on its own. We also have a little bit of romance. There's just so much adventure, a really unique magic system. Now, I will say, I think I did Brandon Sanderson dirty for this one, because honestly, who would have guessed that? Who would have guessed that a prince and a sparkle meant Brandon Sanderson? I really did him dirty, because the votes were 77% for Kingdom of Copper and 23% for Brandon Sanderson. I am so sorry. Anyway, Kingdom of Copper will be going on the TBR for this month. I'm really excited about this. I can't wait to continue this series. As I said, I grouped those together because they were both series I'm currently in the middle of, fantasy series. Kind of sad Hero of Ages didn't get chosen, but like also I wasn't really like rooting for either of them. I was just excited for both of these. All right, for the third slide, we had, the top one was a black cover with a book and a violin. I do think I like nailed those emojis. I feel like I did that really good. And the next one was a really bright purple kind of cover with a Joker card, like in the playing deck cards, and a ship. I feel like this one was the best one that I did, but the first book was A Series of Unfortunate Events 5. This is the Austere Academy. See, for that reason, I feel like I did the emojis pretty good. And basically in this book, one of the main characters is obsessed with playing the violin. So I thought that was pretty good. And they were set in academy, so that was the book setting. I'm rereading this series at the moment, absolutely obsessed with it. I read a lot of them in October. I really want to continue my read through November, and I was like rooting for this one. I really want to read this one. The other one, again, I feel like I did this pretty good, was Escaping from Houdini. This is the third book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. We are set on a ship, and it is all about like, I can't think of the word. What is it? Like fortune telling kind of things? Like if you look at the back, we have like playing cards, a little like crystal ball, and then like playing cards there. So I feel like that was pretty good by my sense. I'm really loving this series. I need to just sit down and read this book. I have been putting it off for such a long time and I don't know why. I just haven't really been in a YA mystery kind of mood. So this is a YA mystery series. The first book is Stalking Jack the Ripper, and all of the books in this series are based off true events, but like the characters and kind of plot surrounding those events are fictional, inspired by true events. So out of these two books, it was a pretty close call again, but for the Austere Academy, we had 60%, and for Escaping from Houdini, we had 40%. So it was pretty close, but clearly the Austere Academy won, which I'm really excited about because I was going to read this whether it won or not. So at least I can like tick off another book on my TBR this month because I'm terrible at that. Going on the TBR, that's our third book. So we have two more. The next one, I feel like I really had trouble describing this in emojis, but the first book was like a kind of beige color, and we had a pile of books and a kind of old rundown house. Anyway. And then the second book, we had a castle. I did 3 emojis for this one. A castle, the kind of fallen leaves emoji, and the sparkle emoji. I think that's right. I think there's a bit of magic in this book. I hope I'm correct, but it's an art copy, so it doesn't have a blurb at the back. So I'm just going from the cover and the vibes of it. But anyway, the first book was The Book Thief. This has been on my TBR only for a little bit, but I really want to read it. I'm just really scared because I know I'm going to bawl my eyes out. I know I'm going to cry so much in this, and it really intimidates me. I did a book, obviously a stack of books, The Book Thief, and I wanted to do someone running, but like they were all like wearing like athletic wear in the running emojis. So I was like, no. So I kind of just did a run down house because I know this is set during the war times. I don't know. I don't really know if I was probably very off by that, but I'm really scared to read this. I just feel like I do need to read it though, because this is such a classic. I just feel like everyone says that you need to read this at least once in your reading journey. The second book was Lady Macbeth. See, this is an art copy, so I don't, like there's no blurb. This is by Ava Reid. Ava Reid also wrote A Study in Drowning, which I read, I think at the beginning of this year. I really liked it, really liked her writing. And this is Lady Macbeth, so it's giving like a dark academia type of vibes. Probably should have read it in October actually, but anyway. It says survival is all that matters. So the castle, I'm pretty sure we're set, like not a castle, but like a grand estate type thing. The leaves kind of just give me like dark academia, like autumny, cozy vibes. Sparkles, because at least in Study in Drowning, there was magical elements to the kind of, I'm thinking it might be on the same realm because it's same author, same vibe. I'm really intrigued by this one. I do really want to get to this very soon. So let's see what the votes were. 39% for The Book Thief and 61% for Lady Macbeth. So I will be reading Lady Macbeth this month. Very excited about this. Very curious as well. And then we are up to the last prompt. Okay, so this prompt was, one was dark green and it had a skull emoji and a half moon emoji. And then the other one was purple. I'm not really sure why I did it purple, with a dragon and a magic wand. I feel like this was like pretty accurate. You could kind of get like at least a vibes for the books. I doubt you would have guessed any of these, but anyway. So the first book, the dark green one with a skull and a moon, was The Coven by Harper L. Woods. This has been on my TBR for a while. I got sent it, and I know we are set in academy, but I've heard some people really enjoy it, and then I've heard some people really just not. And I do think it is a bit spicy, and I'm not really like, if I read a fantasy romance and there's a bit of spice, I don't mind. But I'm reading it for the plot and for the characters, and for like the small interactions, like the chemistry between the characters, not the spice between the characters. So if there's good chemistry and there's good kind of interactions and stuff, I'm happy. But if it's literally just characters, then spicy scenes. I'll just be like, So I don't know, I am intrigued by this one though, and I do want to read it and just get it off my physical TBR and form an opinion on it. The other one was Cruel is the Light. This is coming out in January. This is actually an ARC edition. I got sent by Penguin by Sophie Clark. Again, because this is an ARC edition, it doesn't have any blurb. I lied, it does in the middle. It says, the epic and sizzling YA romantasy, soon to be your next obsession. A brutal war between demons and humanity has raged across Europe for over a century. At its heart are two elite soldiers, Selena, a powerful exorcist trained at the prestigious Vatican Academy, and foot soldier Jules. When their paths cross despite initial distrust, then unwelcome attraction, Jules and Celine discover a terrible secret at the heart of the holy Vatican City. So it sounds really good, and it says Serpent and Dove meets Empire of the Vampire, with star-crossed enemies to lovers romance at its heart. Perfect for fans of Powerless, Fourth Wing, and Divine Rivals. So it does sound really up my alley. And it's a YA romantasy, so I know that it won't be like anything too spicy. Never, like, even though the cover kind of gives that. The reason I did the dragon emoji was because I'm pretty sure there is a lot of mythical creatures in there, and on the kind of little cards it gives you, there's lots of kind of snakes and little dragons. I am probably hoping, like, leaning towards this one, because I don't know, it just intrigues me a lot more than the Coven. I just feel like it's a lot more up my alley, but you never know. You never. So let's see the results. Okay, so we had 37% for the Coven and 63% for Cruel is the Light. So this one is going on my TBR. I'm really excited about this. I really hope I get to it and read it. It's not too long, and I'm just really intrigued by it. Like, I really want, like, if I can have a new YA fantasy obsession, I will be a very happy girl. So let's run through the books on my November TBR. First of all, we have Lightlark by Alex Aster. I am super excited about this one. A little bit nervous to go into it, but like, I'm hoping it'll just be a fun YA kind of fantasy time. We then have Kingdom of Copper. This is the second book to City of Brass. I am so excited to continue this trilogy and just dive back into this world. The Austere Academy, I hope I'm saying that right, by Lemony Snicket. This is the fifth book in a series of unfortunate events. Like, I'm reading this ASAP, honestly. I love it. Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed. I believe this is a dark academia fantasy. We'll see. And of course, Cruel is the Light by Sophie Clark, a YA romantasy, hopefully my new obsession. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you if you voted on the polls. I hope you had fun. If you guessed any of those, I am amazed, because clearly I did not do a very good job. But yeah, if you guessed any, well done to you. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you in my next video.